Adam Brooks stood at the viewport of Europa Station and watched as the Sarathi warships moved into position. Their dark hulls absorbed the dim sunlight, making them look like holes cut into space itself. He clenched his fists as the communication panel chimed again. "Commander Brooks, they're demanding our surrender," said Alan Peters, his second in command. "All other outposts have fallen. We're the last military installation still standing." Adam closed his eyes. 8 months of fighting. And this was how it ended. Humanity's colonies across 7 star systems had been systematically destroyed or captured by the Sarathi Collective. Now only Earth, Luna, and a few scattered outposts remained. "How many civilians are still in the shelters?" Adam asked. "About 300, sir. Not enough transport ships to get them all out before the Sarathi arrived." Adam nodded slowly. "Then we don't have a choice. Signal our surrender." The words tasted bitter in his mouth. As Alan relayed the message, Adam's personal communicator buzzed. His heart jumped when he saw the sender, Lisa. His wife was still alive. The message was brief. "Project Lazarus compromised. Data packet attached. Coordinates to Mars facility. Remember what we discovered, Adam. Dormant no more. I love..." The message cut off. Adam tried to respond, but the connection was dead. He quickly copied the encrypted data to his secure drive, before wiping it from the system. Whatever Lisa had sent him, the Sarathi couldn't find it. "Sir," Alan called out. "Sarathi boarding parties are docking in bays 2 through 5. All personnel, this is Commander Brooks," Adam announced over the station-wide channel. "Lay down your weapons. I repeat, lay down your weapons. Our priority now is the safety of the civilians." The Sarathi entered Europa Station like they owned it, which Adam supposed they now did. They were tall, with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the station lights. Their 4 eyes, too large, too small, blinked in different patterns as they scanned the humans who stood with their hands raised. One Sarathi stepped forward, its movement fluid like water. "I am Overseer Kelvath," it said in perfect English. "Your resistance has ended. The collective welcomes your biological and cultural distinctiveness. Integration will begin shortly." Adam felt cold dread settle in his stomach. They had all heard rumors about integration. Some said it meant becoming part of the Sarathi hive mind. Others said worse things. "What about the civilians?" he asked. "Non-essential humans will be processed and relocated to designated areas on Earth," Kelvath replied. "You and your soldiers will be evaluated for usefulness." 2 days later, Adam watched from the transport ship's window as Earth came into view. Once beautiful blue and green, now gray patches marred its surface where the Sarathi had established their processing centers. Massive ships hung in orbit, some nearly as large as cities. On the lunar surface below, Dr. Olivia Ward moved quickly through the overcrowded refugee camp. What had once been a research colony was now home to 50,000 displaced humans from the outer colonies. As the only doctor in Sector 4, she hadn't slept in nearly 30 hours. "Dr. Ward, we need you in Tent 17, a nurse called. "Out." Another case of the shakes. Olivia nodded and grabbed her diagnostic scanner. The shakes had become common among refugees who had direct exposure to Sarathi weapons. Most doctors called it post-traumatic stress, but Olivia wasn't so sure. Inside the tent, a young man thrashed on a cot while 2 volunteers held him down. "He was working cleanup crew," one explained. "Found him like this near the old comm array." Olivia scanned him, frowning at the results. His neural activity was off the charts, just like the others. But there was something else. Patterns she'd never seen before, as if dormant parts of his brain were suddenly firing. "Get him sedated and moved to my research tent," she said. "This is the 5th case this week." As the patient was moved, Olivia noticed a Sarathi observer watching from outside. She quickly pocketed her scanner. The aliens had taken an interest in her work lately, and that was never a good thing. Back on Earth, Adam and the other military personnel were processed at a facility outside the ruins of Chicago. They were scanned, blood sampled, and fitted, with tracking implants at the base of their skulls. "These are for your safety," the human collaborator explained with an empty smile. "And these..." He held up what looked like metal collars. are neural suppression devices. Standard procedure for military prisoners. We surrendered under terms, Adam protested. The terms have been altered, the man said, not meeting Adam's eyes. Later, as Adam sat in a holding cell with 20 other officers, he carefully checked that the guards weren't watching and pulled out his secure drive. Using the small screen, he reviewed the data Lisa had sent him. Most was encrypted, but the coordinates were clear, a location deep within Olympus Mons on Mars. There were also fragmented research notes about dormant neural pathways and latent human potential. One image showed brain scans with unusual activity in areas typically considered non-functional. At the end was a personal message from Lisa. If you're seeing this, I'm probably gone. But what we discovered can't die with me, Adam. Humans aren't what we thought we were. The Sarathi know it. It's why they attacked us. Find Karen at the Mars facility. Wake the others. I love you. Adam closed the file as footsteps approached. A plan was already forming in his mind. He needed to get to Mars. 6 months passed. Earth was fully under Sarathi control. Neural suppression. Fields now surrounded all human settlements, broadcasting frequencies that kept humans docile and compliant. Adam had managed to escape during a prisoner transfer, using skills from his Special Forces days and knowledge of old military tunnels. Beneath the city, he'd made contact with a resistance cell operating out of the ruins of Denver and was preparing for his next move. The supply ship leaves for Mars in 2 days, said Grace, the resistance leader. We've secured you passage as maintenance crew, but getting into Olympus Mons won't be easy. The whole area is restricted. I'll find a way, Adam said. He touched the back of his neck where a scar remained after a resistance doctor had removed his tracking implant. I have to. On the lunar colony, Olivia was running out of time. Her research into the strange neural patterns had drawn unwanted attention. Yesterday, 2 of her patients had been taken by Sarathi medical officers. Today, she found her lab ransacked. They know, her assistant Frank whispered, as they salvaged what data they could. Someone talked. Then we need to leave, Olivia said, grabbing the memory crystal containing her research. My findings need to reach the resistance. These neural changes aren't random, Frank. Something is happening to us, something the Sarathi are afraid of. As she spoke, alarms began to sound throughout the colony. On screens everywhere, a Sarathi announcement played. Attention humans. The integration process will now accelerate. For your comfort and safety, enhanced neural suppression fields will be activated in all sectors. Remain calm. Resistance is inefficient. Olivia felt a chill. We need to go, now. Across the solar system, humans bowed their heads as the suppression fields intensified. But deep beneath Olympus Mons on Mars, in a hidden facility shielded from detection, scientist Karen Miller watched over 12 stasis chambers. Inside each, a human floated in suspended animation, the first subjects of Project Lazarus. Hold. On a little longer, she whispered to them. Help is coming. 5 years passed under Sarathi rule. Adam Brooks crouched in the darkness of the abandoned mining tunnels beneath Olympus Mons. His beard was now flecked with gray, and a long scar ran down the side of his face. Behind him, 20 members of the Mars Resistance waited silently. These tunnels haven't been used in decades, whispered Paul, his most trusted scout, but they should connect to the lower levels of the old research sector. Adam checked the coordinates on his worn datapad one more time. The secret facility Lisa had directed him to was less than half a kilometer away. It had taken him 5 years to get here, 5 years of hiding, building networks, and watching Earth and its colonies transform under Sarathi control. Remember, Adam said to the group, we're looking for a woman named Karen Miller and whatever she's protecting. No unnecessary risks. The team moved forward through the narrow tunnels, their way lit only by dim emergency lights that still functioned after all these years. When they reached a sealed door marked Section 47B, Authorized Personnel Only, Adam felt his heart race. This is it, he said, running his fingers over the control panel. Using the access codes from Lisa's data, he input a long sequence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a hiss of long unused hydraulics, the door slowly opened. Beyond, lay a dark corridor. As they moved forward, motion sensors detected them and lights flickered to life. At the end of the corridor stood another door, this one requiring a retinal scan. "It wants Lisa's eyes," Adam said, staring at the scanner. Paul stepped forward. "We prepared for this." He handed Adam a small device. "Old military trick. Retinal patterns can be spoofed if you have the right data." Adam placed the device against the scanner. It projected a copied image of Lisa's retinal pattern from the data she had sent him. After a tense moment, the door unlocked. Inside was a large circular room filled with advanced equipment and, at its center, 12 vertical stasis chambers arranged like the numbers on a clock. A woman in a lab coat spun around as they entered, pointing an outdated pulse pistol at them with shaking hands. "Stay back," she shouted. "I'll destroy everything before I let the Sarathi take it." Adam raised his hand slowly. "Are you Karen Miller?" The woman's eyes widened. "Who wants to know?" "My name is Adam Brooks. Lisa sent me." Karen's hand trembled. "Prove it." "Dormant no more," Adam said quietly. "That's what her last message said." Karen lowered the weapon and sank into a chair. She looked exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes and hair that had gone completely white. "I've been waiting for someone to come for 5 years. I was beginning to think no one would." While the resistance team secured the perimeter, Karen showed Adam around the facility. Project Lazarus was classified beyond top secret, she explained. Only a handful of people knew its true purpose. She gestured to the stasis chambers. "These 12 volunteers were our first test subjects." Adam looked at the sleeping faces behind the glass. "What exactly was Project Lazarus?" "A discovery," Karen said, "about human potential. For centuries, scientists wondered why humans only use a fraction of their brain capacity. We found the answer: evolutionary locks." She activated a holographic display showing a human brain with certain areas highlighted in red. "These regions aren't unused, they're dormant, deliberately shut down early in our evolution." Lisa theorized that ancient humans had abilities we would consider impossible today. Telepathy, telekinesis, direct neural interface with technology. But these abilities made us unstable, dangerous to ourselves. "So evolution locked them away," Adam said. "Exactly, but the lock can be broken." Karen pointed to the sleeping subjects. These 12 showed the most promising initial results, but the awakening process was violent, unpredictable. The Military Oversight Board ordered the project shut down just before the Sarathi invaded. I was supposed to terminate the subjects, but I couldn't do it. Adam looked at Karen closely. "You think this is connected to why the Sarathi attacked us?" "I know it is," she said firmly. 2 months before the invasion, one of our subjects escaped containment during testing. He managed to send some kind of pulse that disrupted all electronic systems within a kilometer. Somehow that pulse was detected by a Sarathi deep space monitoring post. Before Adam could respond, Paul rushed in. "We've got company." "Sarathi patrol approaching the main entrance to the research sector. They must have detected the power surge when we opened the sealed doors," Karen said. Adam made a quick decision. How long would it take to wake these people? "Wake them? They're not ready. The process isn't stable without the catalyst Lisa was developing." "We don't have time for perfect solutions," Adam said. "Can you wake just one?" Karen hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, but without the catalyst, the subject will experience intense side effects, pain, possibly hallucinations." "Do it," Adam ordered, "and make it me." Karen stared at him. "You? But you're not?" "Lisa sent me here for a reason," Adam said firmly. "I trust her judgment." While the resistance fighters prepared defenses, Karen rushed to prepare the awakening chamber. She attached neural monitors to Adam's head and injected him with a clear blue liquid. "This will prepare your neural pathways," she explained. "The process will be extremely painful, and without the catalyst, any abilities you develop will be limited, and using them will likely cause physical trauma." Adam lay back on the medical table. "Just tell me what to expect." "If it works, telepathic abilities most likely. That's the first function to awaken. Later, with the proper catalyst, other abilities might emerge. Through the facility's security feeds, they could see the Sarathi patrol discovering the entrance to the tunnels. They had minutes at most. "Do it now," Adam said. Karen activated the machine. Blue energy surrounded Adam, and he clenched his teeth as pain, unlike anything he'd ever felt, shot through his body. It felt like his brain was on fire, expanding beyond the confines of his skull. Images flashed through his mind, memories that weren't his, feelings and thoughts from other people. Then darkness. When Adam awoke, his head throbbed with the worst headache of his life. He could taste blood from his nose. "Did it work?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Karen helped him sit up. "Your neural patterns have changed, but we won't know what you can do until you try." A loud explosion echoed through the facility. The Sarathi had breached the outer defenses. "Focus on me," Karen said urgently. "Try to hear my thoughts." Adam concentrated despite the pain. At first there was nothing, then, faint but clear, he could hear Karen's voice in his mind. "Please work. We need this to work." "You're afraid," Adam said aloud. "You're thinking about someone named Daniel. He was one of the original volunteers." Karen's eyes widened. "Yes, my brother." Another explosion, closer this time. "We need to move," Adam said, standing unsteadily. "We'll take the subjects with us." "Impossible," Karen said. "The stasis units can't be moved without killing them." "Then we'll come back for them," Adam decided. "But we take all the research data, everything Lisa and you worked for." As they rushed to download the data, Adam's mind suddenly filled with a strange sensation, a presence that wasn't human. Cold, ordered, hive-like. "The Sarathi," he gasped. "I can feel them. Their minds are connected, like a network." Miles away on Earth, factory worker Ben Collins wiped sweat from his brow as he repaired a damaged neural suppressor. The Sarathi overseers made everyone work 12-hour shifts now, and mistakes meant punishment. As Ben reconnected a circuit, his hand slipped. A spark jumped, and for a brief moment, the neural suppression field around his section flickered. Indy. That instant of mental clarity, Ben felt something awaken inside him. Every machine in the factory suddenly responded to his thoughts, shutting down simultaneously. The Sarathi overseer turned its 4 eyes toward him. "Human malfunction detected. Increase suppression levels." As the field intensified again, Ben's brief connection faded, but something had changed. Something had awakened, and it couldn't be put back to sleep. Adam sat alone in the dim light of the resistance bunker, blood dripping from his nose again. Every time he used his new abilities, the pain got worse. But he was getting better at controlling it. 3 weeks had passed since their escape from the Sarathi patrol. They had fled deeper into the abandoned mining network, eventually reaching an old emergency shelter that the resistance had converted into a hidden base. "You should rest," Karen said, entering the room with medical supplies. She wiped the blood from his face with practiced movements. "You pushed too hard again." Adam closed his eyes. "I made contact with someone new, a woman on the lunar colony." Karen paused. "That's over 200,000 miles away. Her name is Olivia Ward. She's a doctor studying neural changes in humans exposed to Sarathi technology." This caught Karen's attention. "What kind of changes?" "The same ones we've been seeing. The Sarathi are hunting her now. She knows too much." Adam opened his eyes, which were bloodshot from broken vessels. "We need to get her here." Karen shook her head. "Even if we could arrange transport from Luna, the Sarathi have tightened security everywhere since your escape." "We don't have a choice," Adam insisted. "She has data about how the Sarathi suppression fields are actually stimulating the same brain regions that Project Lazarus targeted. It's happening by accident, Karen, all across Earth and the colonies." The door opened and Paul entered with 2 other resistance members. "Sorry to interrupt, but our contact in the Dome City just sent an urgent message. A Sarathi medical transport is landing tomorrow. They're bringing special cargo from Luna, a human doctor and her research." Adam and Karen exchanged looks. "Olivia," Adam said. The next day, a small team of resistance fighters positioned themselves near the Mars Central Medical Facility. Disguised as maintenance workers, they watched as the Sarathi transport landed. Adam stayed hidden in a service tunnel nearby. His head throbbed as he extended his mind, searching for Olivia among the humans and Sarathi in the area. There, he felt her presence. Curious, analytical, afraid but not showing it. "Olivia Ward," he projected, wincing as a sharp pain shot through his skull. Inside the medical facility, Olivia almost stumbled as an unfamiliar voice spoke inside her head. "Don't react," the voice continued. "My name is Adam Brooks. I'm with the Mars Resistance. We're here to help you." Olivia kept her face neutral as two Sarathi guards escorted her down a corridor. "How is this possible?" she thought back. "Project Lazarus," Adam replied. "I know about your research. The neural changes in your patients. We need your help." "They took all my data," Olivia thought, "but not everything. I memorized the key findings. The rescue happened during the facility's atmospheric adjustment period, when the air recyclers created enough noise to cover their movements. The resistance fighters neutralized the guards with sonic stunners, and Adam led Olivia through the service tunnels back to their transport. "That was too easy," Paul said as they sped away in a maintenance vehicle. "The Sarathi wanted us to rescue her," Adam replied, wiping fresh blood from his nose. "I sensed it in the guards' minds. They're tracking her somehow." At a checkpoint, they switched vehicles, and Olivia underwent a full scan. They found the tracker embedded in her artificial tooth. "Clever," Karen said as they surgically removed it and attached it to a drone programmed to fly into the wastelands. Back at the bunker, Olivia examined Adam with growing excitement. "Your brain activity is remarkable," she said, looking at the scanner. "Similar to what I observed in patients exposed to Sarathi weapons, but much more pronounced." "Tell us about your research," Karen prompted. Olivia nodded. "After the invasion, I noticed unusual neural patterns in patients who had been close to Sarathi technology. At first I thought it was trauma, but the patterns were too consistent." She drew a diagram of a human brain. "These regions here were showing activity where there shouldn't be any. Patients reported strange experiences, hearing thoughts, moving objects without touching them, interfacing with technology. Like Ben," Adam said. He had maintained telepathic contact with the factory worker on Earth, whose abilities continued to grow despite the suppression fields. "Most interesting was what happened when the neural suppression fields were installed," Olivia continued. "They were supposed to keep humans docile, but in certain individuals they had the opposite effect. The frequency actually stimulated these dormant regions." Karen looked thoughtful. "Lisa was working on a catalyst, a compound that would stabilize the awakening process. She believed certain wavelengths could act as triggers." "The Sarathi wavelengths," Olivia said. "They're accidentally triggering human evolution." Over the next few days, the three worked tirelessly, combining their knowledge. Karen provided the theoretical framework from Project Lazarus. Olivia contributed her observations of real-world cases, and Adam offered direct experience of his awakened abilities. "The key is stabilization," Karen explained. "Adam's abilities are limited and painful because the neural pathways aren't fully formed. Lisa's catalyst would have completed the process." "Could we recreate it?" Olivia asked. "With the right materials, yes, but we'd need access to a proper lab." Adam, who had been silent, suddenly looked up. "I think I can help with that." Through his growing telepathic network, Adam had been connecting with other awakened humans across the solar system. Some were resistance members, others ordinary people, whose abilities had been accidentally triggered by Sarathi technology. One of them worked in a Sarathi research facility near the Dome City. 2 nights later, Karen and Olivia slipped into the facility using access codes provided by their inside contact. While Adam maintained telepathic coordination from outside, they quickly synthesized the catalyst using the lab's advanced equipment. "Will this work on everyone?" Olivia asked as they finished. "Not everyone," Karen replied. "Based on genetic markers, maybe 30% of humans have the potential for full awakening. Another 40% might develop limited abilities. The rest won't respond at all." That's still billions of people, Olivia said. When they returned to the bunker, Adam was the first to test the catalyst. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The pain that had accompanied his abilities vanished, and his range extended dramatically. "Can sense minds all across Mars now," he said in wonder. "And I think I can do more than just read thoughts." He focused on a metal cup on the table. It trembled, then rose several inches into the air. "Telekinesis," Karen whispered. Over the next week, they refined the catalyst and began distributing it through the resistance network. Adam continued building his telepathic web, connecting with more awakened humans each day. On Earth, Ben received the catalyst through a resistance courier. After taking it, his technological abilities expanded exponentially. He could now interface with and control entire systems with just his thoughts. Similar reports came in from resistance cells across the solar system. Each awakened human developed different abilities based on their personal strengths and natural tendencies. The Sarathi began to notice the change. Suppression fields mysteriously failed. Communications were interrupted. Equipment malfunctioned. When certain humans were nearby, Adam called a meeting of resistance leaders. "It's time," he said. "We've built our network. We have 50 fully awakened humans with stable abilities and hundreds more in the early stages." "What are you proposing?" Paul asked. "A coordinated strike," Adam replied. "All awakened humans, simultaneously disrupting the suppression field in New Seattle. It's the least defended major human settlement, and success there will show others what's possible." Olivia looked concerned. "The Sarathi will respond with force." "Yes," Adam agreed. "But they'll be facing something they've never encountered before, a species awakening to its true potential." The day of the New Seattle action, 50 awakened humans positioned themselves around the massive suppression field generator that kept the city's 300,000 residents compliant. At Adam's telepathic signal, they combined their abilities. Ben shut down the generator's electronic systems. Others with telekinetic abilities disabled mechanical backups. Those with empathic powers projected feelings of courage and hope to the confused human population. For the first time in 5 years, the people of New Seattle experienced full mental clarity. Thousands looked up at the sky with new understanding in their eyes. On their orbital command platform, the Sarathi High Command received urgent messages from their forces on the ground. Emergency protocols were activated. A special transmission was sent to Sarathi Central Authority. The message was simple. The sleeping giants are awakening. The Sarathi High Command sent their most accomplished military leader to handle the human problem. Executor Zinrath arrived at Mars orbit in a massive battlecruiser that cast shadows over the dome cities below. Adam watched the ship's arrival through the eyes of an awakened human working in the control tower. Zinrath was different from other Sarathi he had encountered. Taller, with darker blue skin and 6 eyes instead of 4. His mind felt ancient and cold when Adam cautiously brushed against it. "He's dangerous," Adam told the resistance leaders, gathered in their new headquarters beneath the old mining complex. "His thoughts are shielded somehow. I can't read him clearly." "What can you sense?" Karen asked. "Fear," Adam replied. "Not his own, he has none, but he knows the old stories. The Sarathi have legends about species with abilities like ours." Paul looked skeptical. "The Sarathi are afraid of us?" "They conquered our entire solar system in under a year." "They conquered sleeping humans," Olivia corrected him. "We're no longer sleeping." In the 3 weeks since the New Seattle action, the awakening had spread rapidly. The catalyst formula had been distributed through underground networks on Earth, Luna, and all remaining colonies. Thousands of humans now exhibited various abilities, each unique to the individual. Adam had organized them into specialized groups. Those with technical abilities, like Ben, focused on disrupting Sarathi systems. Others with empathic gifts helped awaken more humans. Those with physical enhancements led direct actions against Sarathi patrols. "Zinrath has ordered a purge," Adam said grimly. "I picked that up clearly. They're going to eliminate all human settlements they can't fully control." "How long do we have?" asked Rebecca Allen, a former pilot who had recently joined them after developing technopathic abilities. the power to mentally interface with ships and vehicles. Days, maybe less. They're already loading transports with human prisoners. Moving them off-world. Rebecca stood up. Then we need to strike first. Give me a team and I'll take one of their ships. Adam nodded. Do it. We need every advantage. As the meeting ended, Karen pulled Adam aside. There's something else, isn't there? Adam hesitated. The stasis chambers at the Lazarus facility, the original test subjects, I keep thinking about them. The Sarathi would have found them by now. No, Adam said. I would have sensed it. I think they're still there, hidden, and they might be the key to all of this. That night, Adam led a small team back through the tunnels to the hidden facility. The outer doors had been sealed with Sarathi security measures, but Ben had taught several resistance members how to bypass such systems with their newly awakened abilities. Inside, they found the facility undisturbed. The 12 stasis chambers still hummed with power, their occupants suspended in frozen sleep. The Sarathi missed this place entirely, Karen said in wonder. Adam walked to the central control panel. Lisa believed these 12 had the strongest potential of all the test subjects. That's why she saved them. Waking them is risky, Karen warned. Even with the catalyst, they've been in stasis for years. We need them, Adam said firmly. Every awakened human brings something unique to our fight. One by one, they revived the subjects, administering the catalyst as each person emerged from stasis. The process was smoother than Adam's painful awakening had been, but still difficult. Many of the subjects were disoriented, confused by a world where years had passed and aliens ruled Earth. The last chamber contained a young woman named Diane Lewis. When she awoke, her eyes glowed with an inner light. I saw you, she said to Adam immediately. While I was sleeping, I saw all of this happening. Karen looked startled. Precognition, she can see the future. Not exactly, Diane said, sitting up slowly. Possibilities, branching paths, some clearer than others. She focused on Adam. There's a ship coming, a big one. It will change everything. In orbit around Mars, Rebecca Allen and her team of 6 awakened humans had infiltrated a Sarathi supply depot. Using her technopathic abilities, Rebecca had bypassed security systems and gained access to a mid-sized battlecruiser. The controls are like nothing I've ever seen, she told the others as they slipped aboard. But I can feel them, like they're speaking to me. Rebecca placed her hands on the main control panel and closed her eyes. Her mind reached out, connecting with the ship's systems. To her surprise, the ship responded eagerly, as if it had been waiting for her touch. It's ours, she said with a smile. Let's go. The stolen battlecruiser slipped away from the depot, its Sarathi identification codes still active. By the time the depot realized what had happened, Rebecca had already mastered the ship's weapon systems and propulsion. On the command platform, Zinrath received news of the theft with cold anger. Humans cannot operate our vessels, he said, to his subordinates. Not unless... He paused, his 6 eyes narrowing. Prepare the purge immediately. No delays. And ready the planet killers. Adam felt Zinrath's order ripple through the Sarathi collective consciousness. He's moving faster than we expected, he told the resistance leaders. The purge begins tomorrow. We're not ready, Paul said. We need more time to evacuate the Dome cities. We don't have time, Adam replied. But we do have a ship now. Rebecca had made contact, informing them of her successful theft. And we have something else too. He nodded to Diane, who had joined the leadership group. She stepped forward. I've seen a path, she said. It's narrow and dangerous, but it exists. The Sarathi ships have a weakness. Their collective consciousness relies on specific communication frequencies. If we can disrupt those frequencies at the source, their command ship, we can throw their entire fleet into confusion. That would mean boarding Zinrath's vessel, Adam said. A direct assault. Yes, Diane agreed. Led by you. The plan came together quickly. Rebecca would use the stolen battlecruiser to approach Zinrath's command ship under the guise of a routine patrol. Adam and a team of awakened humans with various abilities would board and fight their way to the central communication hub. Meanwhile, Ben would coordinate a solar system-wide disruption of all Sarathi suppression fields, timed to coincide with the attack on the command ship. If this works, Olivia said as they prepared, millions of humans will experience clarity at once. The shock alone could cause chaos. That's what we're counting on, Adam replied. As dawn broke over Mars, the battle for humanity's future began. Rebecca's stolen ship approached the massive command vessel, transmitting Sarathi authorization codes. Adam and his team of 12 waited in the docking bay, their minds linked in a tight telepathic network. On Earth, Ben and thousands of other awakened humans positioned themselves near key Sarathi installations. In space, other stolen vessels, smaller than Rebecca's but still deadly, moved into position around Sarathi outposts. They're scanning us, Rebecca warned as they came within range of the command ship. Something's wrong, they're not accepting our codes. Adam felt a cold presence touch his mind. Zinrath, I know what you are. The Sarathi commander's thoughts came clearly. You cannot hide from me, awakened one. He knows, Adam told the others. We need a new approach. Rebecca gripped, the controls tighter. Hold on, she said grimly. We're going in hard. The stolen battlecruiser suddenly accelerated, all weapons firing at the command ship's docking bay. Alarms blared as Rebecca crash-landed their vessel into the larger ship. Go, she shouted as the docking bay doors burst open. Adam led his team into the heart of the Sarathi command ship, ready to face humanity's most dangerous enemy. The final battle had begun. Chaos erupted inside the Sarathi command ship. Alarms blared as Adam led his team through the twisted corridors. His mind connected with the others, coordinating their movements without words. The communication hub is 3 levels up, Sam said. He was one of the original Lazarus subjects with the ability to read electronic systems. I can sense it. Sarathi defenders converged on them from all directions. Unlike human soldiers, they moved with perfect coordination, linked through their hive mind. Stay together, Adam ordered as they fought their way forward. Each member of his team used their unique abilities. Maria created energy shields that deflected Sarathi weapons. Eric moved with superhuman speed, disarming opponents before they could react. Diane's precognition allowed her to warn the others of ambushes seconds before they happened. Back on the stolen ship, Rebecca worked frantically to repair the damaged engines. The planet killers are moving into position, she reported through their telepathic link. Targeting Mars, we have less than 30 minutes. On Earth, Ben and his network of technopaths initiated their attack on the suppression field generators. Across the planet, the fields weakened, then failed completely. Millions of humans experienced mental clarity for the first time in years. Some panicked. Others fell to their knees, overwhelmed by sudden freedom. But many, more than the Sarathi had anticipated, rose up against their oppressors, guided by the telepathic messages of awakened humans among them. Adam's team reached the central corridor, leading to the communication hub. Ahead stood a dozen elite Sarathi guards, and behind them, Executor Zinrath himself. The Sarathi commander was imposing up close, nearly 8 feet tall, with armor that seemed to absorb light. His 6 eyes studied Adam with cold intelligence. You cannot win, human, Zinrath said. His voice was deep and resonant. Your species had potential once. Now you will be erased. Adam felt Zinrath trying to push into his mind, a mental attack far stronger than anything he had faced before. He staggered under the assault but held his ground. You know what we are, Adam said, fighting through the pain. What we can become. That's why you fear us. Zinrath made a sound like cold laughter. Fear. The collective fears nothing. We have consumed 1,000 worlds, integrated countless species. You are no different. We are, Adam insisted. Because we remain individuals even as we connect. He reached out with his mind, not to attack Zinrath, but to touch the consciousness of his team members. Their minds linked in a way the Sarathi could never understand, a unity that preserved uniqueness. As one, they launched their assault. The corridor became a battlefield of conventional and psionic warfare. Maria's shields expanded to protect the entire team. Eric moved faster than the eye could follow, dismantling Sarathi weapons. Diane called out warnings that saved lives seconds before threats materialized. As the elite guards fell, Adam faced Zinrath directly. Their minds clashed in an invisible battle that made the physical world seem distant and unimportant. In that mental space, Adam saw what Zinrath was trying to hide. Ancient records in the Sarathi collective memory. Stories of the sleeping giants, a species with the potential to form a different kind of collective consciousness, one that preserved individuality rather than consuming it. That's why you attacked us, Adam realized. Not because we were a threat now, but because of what we could become. Zinrath's mental defenses faltered for just a moment. The balance must be preserved. The collective must remain supreme. Adam pushed deeper into the Sarathi's mind and found the command codes for the planet killers. With a surge of effort, he transmitted these to Rebecca. "Now!" he shouted, both mentally and aloud. Rebecca, having repaired enough systems to maneuver the stolen ship, locked onto the nearest planet killer and fired all weapons. The massive weapon exploded, creating a chain reaction that disabled two others nearby. Meanwhile, Sam had reached the communication hub and, with his electronic reading ability, began disrupting the frequencies that maintained the Sarathi hive mind. Zinrath roared in fury and pain as his connection to the collective weakened. Without that link, he was still powerful, but no longer had the perfect coordination that made the Sarathi so formidable. "You cannot break us," he snarled, drawing a ceremonial blade. The collective is eternal. The final battle was both physical and mental. While their bodies fought in the corridor of the command ship, their minds clashed across a landscape of thought and memory. Adam saw the history of the Sarathi, how they had once been individuals too, before surrendering their autonomy for the power of the collective. "There's another way," Adam told Zinrath as their minds intertwined. Unity without surrender, connection without consumption. For a brief moment, he sensed hesitation in the ancient commander, a flicker of the individual Zinrath had once been, buried beneath millennia of collective dominance. In that moment of hesitation, Adam formed a new connection, not just with his team, but with every awakened human in the solar system. Thousands of minds joined together, their thoughts and abilities amplifying each other while remaining distinct. Ben added his mastery of technology. Olivia contributed her understanding of human physiology. Karen brought her knowledge of the awakening process. Diane shared her glimpses of possible futures. Each human added something unique to the whole. This momentary group consciousness radiated outward, touching even the unawakened humans. A message spread. We are not alone. We are connected. We remain ourselves. The combined mental force was enough to break Zinrath's remaining defenses. He fell to his knees, his blade clattering to the floor. "What have you done?" he whispered. "We've shown you what humanity truly is," Adam answered. With their leader disabled and their communication network disrupted, the Sarathi fell into disarray. The remaining planet killers powered down, their targeting systems confused by conflicting commands. Adam approached the main broadcast array in the communication hub. Using the Sarathi's own technology, he sent a message across their entire network. "This is Adam Brooks of Earth. Humanity will no longer be subjugated. We have awakened to our true potential, but we do not seek vengeance. Instead, we offer a new path, coexistence without domination. The time of the collective as you know it is over, but your people need not be our enemies." As the message spread, something unexpected happened. From distant corners of the galaxy, other signals responded. Species long suppressed by the Sarathi, inspired by humanity's stand, began their own rebellions. Some possessed abilities similar to the awakened humans, having evolved along parallel paths. "You've doomed us all," Zinrath said bitterly. "The galaxy will fall into chaos without the collective's order." "Not chaos," Adam corrected him. "Change, evolution, the natural order of life." In the days that followed, humanity began the long process of reclaiming their world and colonies. The Sarathi, without their unified collective, split into factions. Some continued to fight, but others, especially younger ones, showed interest in the human way of connected individuality. Representatives from other alien races made contact, eager to form alliances with the species that had broken the Sarathi's grip on the galaxy. An interstellar council began to form, not a new collective, but a forum where unique voices could be heard. 1 month after the battle on the command ship, Adam stood on the observation deck of the vessel, now renamed Hope's Dawn. Earth shone blue and green below, healing from the scars of occupation. Beside him stood Karen, Olivia, Ben, Rebecca, and Diane, the core of what people were calling the Awakened Council. "What happens now?" Rebecca asked. Adam looked out at the stars, no longer distant and unreachable, but full of possibilities and new connections waiting to be formed. "Now we truly begin," he said. "This was always our destiny, not to conquer or be conquered, but to awaken, to show the galaxy a different way of being." As he spoke, he could almost hear Lisa's voice from long ago. "We were never meant to be conquered. We were meant to awaken." And across the vast reaches of space, a message spread from world to world, species to species. The sleeping giants had awakened, and the stars themselves trembled, not with fear, but with hope.